when he was Undersecretary General in 1991, as the UN was leading the effort to bring the outside world back into Cambodia to deal with the wretched excesses of the Khmer Rouge, who had killed 2 million people out of a population of 7 million in 4 years. And the UN was able to provide the framework. And we were arranging for all of the UN peacekeepers to fly into that country. And 10 years later, the Khmer Rouge were eradicated as a terrorist organization. So if he never did anything else in his life and never become Secretary General, he would forever have that credit of having been part of an effort to destroy the most radical, violent, terrorist, genocidal organization of the second half of the 20th century. But then I encountered Kofi Annan as Secretary General in 2000. The World Food Prize had a small event in New York while the Millennium Summit was going on. And the Millennium Development Goals were being focused on, and we're so proud that several of our World Food Prize laureates were part of that effort. And up to that time, I think it's very fair to say that most of the leaders in the world weren't very concerned about hungry people. They weren't focused in terms of focusing government and policies. And the Secretary General assembled them all in New York and had them commit to a pledge to significantly reduce, if not eradicate, poverty and hunger around the world. And that set off an entire effort. And then I saw him back in Africa, Agra, to bring the green revolution to Africa. Norman Borlaug's dream that one day what had uplifted other parts of the world could come to Africa. And the sense of optimism was palpable. Certainly the hurdles that remain are significant. But Agra and the Secretary General Kofi Annan are playing the leading role in galvanizing all of this, just as with the Millennium Development Goals. And then I thought back to 2001, when I went with Norman Borlaug to the Nobel Peace Prize ceremony in Oslo. And that was the 100th anniversary. All the living Peace Prize laureates were coming back. It was the same year that Kofi Annan and the United Nations were receiving the Nobel Peace Prize. And as I looked and saw Norm, who was then, in his 90s, the other laureates, and Kofi Annan was there with him, and I said, here is the moment when, in a great sense, there is this passing of the torch, of that when Norm would be gone, who would carry it forward? And so probably the most significant thing I can say as I introduce him to you for his remarks, taking it to the farmer, speeding the forces for change to end hunger in Africa, is here is the man who is going to make Norman Borlaug's dreams come true. Join me in welcoming His Excellency Kofi Annan.